When the New York Yankees signed today's guest to a 3-year free agent contract in the offseason, they figured this perennial all-star would be one more cog in their murderer's row lineup. But even so, they didn't realize he would emerge, as Baseball Weekly put it, not only as the MVP of the Yankees, but the best player in the American League these days, and I don't think anybody can argue with that. I welcome New York's all-star right fielder, Gary Sheffield. How are you, Gary?
All right, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
It seems like the more you're hurting, the better you get this year.
Well, you know, as a former player, I'm sure you know that when you get injured and you have little things that's wrong with you during the course of the year, it helps you concentrate a little bit more. You know, when you can't swing as hard as you want every pitch, you kind of pick your spots, and then you be more selective at what you want to swing at, because if you know I swing at that ball down in the way I know I'm going to be hurting. So for the most part, I try not to.
I would imagine the ball down and away is the one that would hurt the left shoulder the most,
yeah.
right?
Well, it opened up the capsule a little bit. You know, I overextended a little bit, and then you have to generate strength just to make the ball, you know, go a distance, whatever. But, you know, I've been trying to stay away from that pitch, for the most part. But of late, I've been able to get in the weight room and do 5-pound weights and kind of get a little strength in there, and it's been paying off so far.
Refresh our memory, if you would, how that all started and how you hurt the shoulder.
Well, actually, you know, I was struggling, you know, earlier hitting for power. You know, I was trying to hit home runs.
Earlier in the year?
Earlier in the year, and I didn't just let it come. And I finally decided, you know, I sat in my room and I said, you know, I know, you know, I'm a different kind of player than I'm showing, and it's about dedication and sacrificing a lot of things. And I just went in one day and I met with Mr. Torrey, and I told him, I said, you know I haven't been playing up to par of late, but I said, you know, today is a different day. You know,
What day was that?
Against Baltimore. You know, we was
remember
playing.
the date?
I don't remember the date, but I just remember we was playing Baltimore, and I just decided that I wanted to be the player that I normally, you know, every given year that I'm always playing up to par. So I said, well, I'm not gonna sit here and put added pressure on me or try to do more than I'm capable of doing. I'm going to just be myself. And I told him that. I said I was trying to fit in and do all the things that everybody wanted me to do, but I'm going to be me, because I'm the best at being myself. And from that day on, I started swinging with aggression, and one day I just got carried away with it, and I swung too hard, and I couldn't decelerate on my backswing. And when I went too far, I kind of separated my shoulder a little bit.
Everything, it just flew that way, right?
It just wouldn't come back. My whole body just went, and I felt it come out a little bit, and I kind of called time out and kind of like fix it back into place a little bit.
Had you ever had a problem like that with
No,
your
never had that problem before. I know I had surgery on the shoulder before, but not from doing what I was doing. I did it from diving.
I would think now, you know, I mean, you've played in almost every market in the country. I mean, you played in Milwaukee, you've played in San Diego, two laid-back, smaller markets.
Right.
You've played in Los Angeles, even South Florida is a smaller market. Now you come to New York, and it's center stage.
Well, it's just that you know it's New York, and you want the world to see what you're really made of, and what kind of, you know, like people say, you know, this guy's this kind of player or that kind of player. I know what kind of player I am, and all I have to do is just go out and just show it, and then you will see. And that's
why you were signed.
Yeah, that's the part that is so difficult, because you say to yourself, all I got to do is do what I always do, and then people will see what kind of player you are. But you go out and try to make it happen opposed to letting it happen.
It's a lesson that we all, as players, or as I remember as an ex-player, when you don't do it and you're not expected to do it, it's easier to do it. But once you've done it, then they expect it, and the expectations have to meet performance, and that's tough to do. How's your ankle?
Oh, I'm fine. The ankle is fine. I mean, to me, anything that I bang up or hurt, other than, you know, I don't think it can ever compare to the way my shoulder was feeling. I don't think any injury can add up to that pain.
It's the worst you've ever had.
The worst I ever had. I mean,
even to the point where you talk to some writers about retirement.
Well, the thing I said is that this is the kind of pain that makes you want to just quit, because it's like you're in constant pain when you go home. You're in constant pain when you're driving to the park. you're in constant pain when you're playing with your kids. It was just chronic pain all the time. And it's like, you know, in the middle of a game, you taking medication to play. You know, you take your Vox or whatever, but once that wear off, you back in misery again. And it was just a constant thing where, you know, you start asking yourself, who am I doing this for and what am I doing it for? You know, and I just told myself, you know, I can't go no more. And then my wife's been great, you know. She's been, you know, just encouraging me to keep going forward and pressing forward. And I got through it. She said it's going to get better. And I just, you know, we prayed about it and we did everything. And gradually it started getting better.
Your wife, DeLeon, who is a gospel singer.
Yes.
We're going to talk about her, Gary's family, and other things in the baseball world right after this.
Lead 1-0. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Fly ball deep to left field. Cole's going back. Goodbye baseball. A 1-1 tie and a home run to left field by Gary Sheffield. His first home run in the major leagues.
And his first hit as a big leaguer. He's a guy that's got all the tags on him as a potential superstar. And
I'm back with Gary Sheffield, who is a 19-year-old rookie in 1988, was reported to have said, I should have been here years ago. You were 19, but you were telling me that they didn't want you to hit for power in those days?
No, when I got to the big leagues, they looked at my frame and they said, you know, I had a lot of speed at the time. And they told me, you know, we want you to get on and steal bases. And I was like, you know, that's not my game. And, you know, that's where the dispute came from, you know, when I first came up, because I wanted to play a different kind of game than they wanted me to play. They wanted me to be a base stealer, average guy, and I wanted to be a power hitter with speed, you know, and because I looked up to Barry Larkin, you know, all my career, as that's the guy I want to pattern my game after. And
Oh, was that right?
Yeah, he wound up hitting, you know, 15 to 20 home runs a year, and I felt like I can achieve those goals that I had set for myself. You know, it was 15 home runs, and then I can get to 30 home runs like I was doing in the minor leagues.
Why in the world wouldn't they accept the way you wanted to play as opposed to trying to impose something on
Right. Well, it's when I first came up, you know, they got rid of my wigger. You know, I used to wiggle the bat a lot.
I noticed then you didn't against Langston.
Right, I didn't wiggle right there because they wanted me to hold the bat flat, you know, and try to hit the ball the other way. You know, it was a learning process when I came to Milwaukee of, you know, I was 2 years, I just learned how to play shortstop within 2 years out of high school.
You signed as a shortstop.
Right, which I was a pitcher all my life.
Right,
and,
had a 1.31 ERA in high school.
Yeah, so I get to minor leagues, they hand me a glove and say go to shortstop, and I'm like, I don't know how to play shortstop, and 2 years later, I'm in the big leagues, and I was learning on the job. So it was like they changed the way I used to field the ball. They changed the way, you know, the slot I used to throw the ball from. You know, they used to change my hitting style. So everything, just imagine being 18 years old, you know, making it to the big leagues, and then all of a sudden they want to change it. And so it was very confusing for me.
And if you don't do it, if you don't do it, then you become moody.
Right.
Is that right?
All the things that they labeled me as.
All the things, and you get those labels, and those labels are very difficult to shake when the older you get, particularly in baseball.
Well, definitely. You know, the thing is that all I wanted to do is just play baseball. You know, my granddad used to always say, just watch the veteran players, watch how they go about their business. You know, he used to tell me about Robin Yount and Paul Martin. He used to say, just watch these guys. And then you understand what it takes to go through 162 ball games, because you really don't know as a young player what you're capable of doing over 162 game span because you never done it. So he said just watch them, follow them, and be yourself and play like yourself, and your numbers are going to be what they're supposed to be.
Gary, how did you pick up the waggle to begin with?
When I first picked up a wood bat in minor leagues, I grabbed the smallest bat. And I started, it was so light.
For quickness?
Yeah, for quickness. And it was so light, I just started wiggling the thing all over the place. And I was hitting balls, and I couldn't keep the ball fair. You know, I was hitting home runs in the minor leagues, but it was barely going foul. So I grabbed a bigger bat, and I started wiggling with the weight behind it, and I started keeping it fair. And then I just started using that as a rhythm.
It's very interesting because I've said this about you on the air. There are very few hitters with whom I've come into contact with who can keep the inside pitch, the ball off the plate inside fair.
Right.
Barry can do it.
Yes.
Albert Pujols can do it. Aaron could do it. Mike Schmidt could do it.
Yes.
But there are very few guys who can do that, and you can do it. And there's an ability that you have to keep the barrel of the bat in fair territory to where you can keep that ball fair and it doesn't hook on you.
Right. A lot of guys always say, you know, what is your plan when you go up to the plate? I said my plan is I don't think about breaking ball. I don't think about not one pitch that this guy has. All I think about is my hands and where the head of my bat is. And I say, okay, all I'm trying to do is be on time and get the head where I see the ball. And those two things, I don't care if it's inside or outside, all I'm trying to do is get inside the baseball and get the head to the bat on time, and it does the rest.
And when you're inside the ball, you're not going to hook those balls.
You're not going to hook
foul.
it. You're not going to jump at it. It's just going to be a level swing and a consistent swing, because the more you stay inside the ball, the more consistent you're going to be.
And that's also why you have such success hitting the ball the other way to right center, that right center gap.
And just with my shoulders, of late, I've been able to go to right field. I had to eliminate right field altogether this year. So I had to, you know, adjust a lot of things on the course of the year. And that's why when the writers ask me, how do you feel about your year, it's hard to explain because a lot of times I don't know how I'm doing it. You know, it's amazing to me that I can go out here and play under the conditions I was playing in and make sacrifices to every pitcher, to every game. It was just always I'll stand in the back of the box. I'll move in front of the box. I'll get closer to the plate. I'll back off the plate. All year long I've been doing that just to babysit the shoulder on top of a guy throwing harder than the next guy, and I had to make those kind of adjustments.
I've often said that when hitters are going well, they rarely can explain why they're going well.
Right.
But if you're going poorly, you know everything,
oh, yeah.
everything you're doing wrong. I'm pulling my shoulder, my hands are dropping, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Right.
We'll be back with Gary Sheffield. It's fascinating stuff right after this. I'm back with Gary Sheffield, the star right fielder for the New York Yankees. And as most of you know, Gary is the nephew of Doc Gooden. Yeah. And I was doing the game for the New York Mets back in 1992. Eddie Murray was the first baseman, and you singled on an inside fastball from your uncle.
Right.
How many times did you fantasized about a pitch like that?
Well, I wanted to hit the home run, you know, because I had the whole family in town. You know, Dwight flew him down, of course, and I told him, I said, I'm gonna hit a home run off of him, and you know, he told me he's not going to give up a hit. So we had a bet going within the family. You can see I'm all smiles. So that probably was the best moment of my life, you know, just to know that I got a hit off my uncle at the big league level, because we've been facing each other all our lives because, you know, thanks to him, you know, I'm used to getting knocked down by balls, getting drilled by balls, because that's how he made me play baseball. You know, I used to resent the fact that I had to play. You know, I used to love football, and he used to make me play baseball, and
he'd drill you.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't like it, because I used to get hit all the time. So
you got hit more playing baseball than football, probably.
Exactly. So that's why I said, one day I'm going to get you back, and I said, I can't wait till I hit a home run off you.
Oh, that's classic. I've never heard that story. But that was in your Little League days, I guess. And that Little League days took you to Williamsport in the Little League World Series, right?
Yeah, I mean, my uncle, you know, he pushed me in the area where I really didn't want to go. You know, I really didn't want to be a baseball player. I didn't like baseball at all. I was just all about football. Tony Dorsett. That's what I wanted to be like. But then, you know, Doc used to drag me out there. He used to hit this can, you know, pretty much the sun up to sundown. And then he would make me come out there and pitch to him, and he would hit me over the wall, and then he would make me go get the ball. And it was always, you know, something negative towards doing something. And I was like, I didn't want to play this sport. So what I did was, you know, one day he brought me out there. I said, well, the only way I could not go get the ball is I strike him out. So, you know, I started throwing the ball harder and started competing with him. And then he started looking at me kind of funny, like, okay, you kind of can play a little bit. So now it was he would go up, and if I strike him out, now he want to strike me out. So he'll make me hit. And then I wind up hitting him over the house. So he used to get pissed off and make me go get it. So I'm the one who hit it. You should go get it.
So it was really a battle of the arms instead, as much as a battle of the bats.
Yeah,
right?
Believe it or not, when I look back at all those things, those are the things that confrontations came from, you know, the challenges.
I think what you're driving at is it almost prepared you to face major league pitching at a very young age.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the first time I faced Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens, you know, a lot of people might have thought I was scared, but I really wasn't. You know, it was like you against me type of thing, and it brought me back.
That's the way it always been.
Yeah, it brought me to the days of when I looked out there for the first time and see my uncle on the mound. Visions came of playing in the yard, and that's the same thought I had when I faced Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan. I know you throw hard, I know you have the big overhand curveball, and I know you're proud of your fastball. And I said, I grew up hitting those.
Doc Gooden's nephew, he grew up hitting those. We'll be back with Gary right after this. I'm back with Gary Sheffield, who earlier in the year playing right field for the Yankees, this in Texas, a throw right on the money to Jorge Posada to get the Texas runner, and that was your first assist as a Yankee, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Posada all over
Posada,
you about that?
yeah, to Posada, yeah. But see, the thing was, he was talking about, oh yeah, somebody, man, he called me dog. Dog, when we gonna get somebody to play? You've been throwing guys out everywhere else but the plate. I said, well, the last time I threw it and had the guy, you dropped it. And so man, he'll be going back and forth like that. But finally, we got him that day.
Well, that was an arm in right field made strong because you signed as a pitcher. I didn't realize that until you told me during the break. But I didn't realize you signed pitcher / shortstop.
Yeah,
right?
that's how they defined me. I never heard of it either. They was like you drafted as a pitcher / shortstop. So since pitcher came first, you know, that's what I thought I was. And you know, they actually, I got off the plane and they was actually getting ready to start the game, and I went down to
Doc had gotten you a pitching toe?
because he was with Nike at the time, and Rawlins glove. He sent me 2 gloves, and I had this the spike on my shoes and everything. So, you know, they looked at me right away like, you know, this guy, he got the new Nike shoes and, you know, starting his career, and it was because of my uncle. So I happened to go down to the bullpen because, you know, during high school, I never sat in the dugout. You know, I was always in the bullpen or I was, you know, sitting away from the team because I was pitching. And, you know, I was sitting in the bullpen, and the coach was looking for me because I guess I was playing short that day. And I was sitting down there, and he had everybody look for me. And then he's, what is he doing in the bullpen? I was like, well, I thought I was a pitcher. So I'm running to the, you know, the dugout with pitching toe on my shoe. And I had to play shortstop with it, you know, until I got some new shoes.
You actually played shortstop that first game in professional ball with the pitching toe on your shoe.
Yeah.
I had no idea you had signed as a pitcher, but it was pitcher /
shortstop.
Shortstop. You met your wife, and is it a true story that your wife's mother chaperoned you on the first date?
Oh, well, yeah,
right?
with the dog.
She's a gospel singer, right?
Yeah, she's a gospel singer, you know. The first day I met my wife, you know, I told her, I said, you're going to be my wife. You know, I knew it.
How'd you know?
Because it's like when you're single for so long, you know the perfect woman you're looking for. You know that personality, you know that voice, you know everything. And my mom used to always tell me, when you find your wife, you're going to know it. And I used to always keep those words with me. And that particular day, I was like, I prayed that, you know, God, bring me a wife. You know, I want to settle down, have some kids with my wife, and I can, you know, not have the distractions off the field, you know, and I can focus on baseball and baseball only, you know, and those things came true. And the first date, you know, I didn't really want her to know what I did, you know, so I told her to come see me, and she didn't know why and where. So she said
knew you traveled.
She knew I traveled, and so I didn't want her to get overwhelmed by the money and the fame and all of these things, which she didn't know me from Adams. And you know, and I was so glad that she said she would come, but only on a one condition. I was like, well, what is that? And she said, well, if I bring my mother and my dog. So I was like, good. I wanted to meet her mom and her dad and get that out the way where we can get married. So she wound up coming with her.
And De Leon is a gospel singer.
She's a gospel singer. She's doing her own album right now. She's doing it through the church, Pastor Paula White Ministry. She travels with her a lot. So if you want to find out her stuff, it's DeLeonRich.com. If you go there, you find out all of the information.
1997 World Series, Jim Thome, who was then the first baseman for the Indians, to right field. Gary Sheffield, the right fielder. Watch this play. And watch who comes over. I didn't realize it, Devon White, the center fielder.
White. Normally he makes catches like this.
That's
I'm
right.
watching him, and when I caught it, you know, I was like, you know, I looked at my glove. I'm like, I got it, and I just threw my hand up because I wasn't used to making those catches. And actually, you know, I only been playing the outfield for like 2 years at that time, and you know, I was so happy to catch that ball in that particular moment.
Obviously, we've only got about 30 seconds, Gary. Obviously, you're hopeful of another World Series opportunity with the Yankees.
That's my number one goal for coming here. You know, I knew New York would bring out the best in me, and I would have the best opportunity to win in front of probably the best fans in the world, without a doubt. I mean, I've seen it for myself, and I've seen it in '96. You know, 86 with the Mets, you know, being around Doc, and then now seeing it for myself, it's all of what I ever thought it would be.
It's also brought out the pain in you, too, with your shoulder and your ankle. Gary, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks for watching. Gary Sheffield's been my guest. See you next time.